We think of our DNA as this biological instruction manual, right? But what if it's so much more than that? What if it's holding a hidden language, a secret code to our absolute highest potential? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today with a system called the Gene Keys. All right, let's just jump right in with a pretty mind-bending question. What if your greatest fears, the stuff that really seems to hold you back time and again, what if they aren't obstacles at all? What if they're actually the keys, the signposts, pointing you directly toward your own personal genius? I mean, that's pretty much the core idea behind the Gene Keys, right there. And we're not just talking about positive thinking here. This goes way deeper. The system suggests that we all carry these tangible, inherited fears. It calls them shadows, and they're lodged deep down in our unconscious. And the secret isn't to fight them or run away, it's to turn around and actually face them. So, okay, what does this system actually look like? What's the architecture behind it all? Well, everything revolves around this blueprint of 64 universal archetypes. And get this, it's described as a kind of map of the entire cosmos written right into your cells. And the magic number for that blueprint? It's 64. Now, according to the system's founder, Richard Rudd, this number wasn't just pulled out of thin air. He says it's a fundamental pattern that's literally woven into the fabric of reality itself. And this is where it gets really wild. That pattern of 64, it shows up everywhere. You see it in ancient wisdom like the I Ching, and then, remarkably, you see it in our own biology. Our genetic code is built on 64 little building blocks called codons. The Gene Key system says, hey, that's no coincidence. It's like our DNA is a mirror of the cosmos, making every single one of us a tiny holographic map of the entire universe. How cool is that? Okay, so we have these 64 archetypes. What do we do with them? Well, each one isn't just a static thing. It exists on a spectrum of frequency, kind of like a radio dial. The whole journey of the Gene Keys is about learning how to turn up your own frequency, to move from what's called the shadow to the gift. And that journey, it always begins in the shadow. This is the low frequency end of the dial. It's the home of our fears, those unconscious patterns that just seem to run on autopilot, keeping us feeling stuck or small. Basically, this is where the work begins for all of us. But here's where the magic happens. When you turn towards that shadow, when you just look at it with awareness, something incredible starts to shift. The energy can't stay stuck anymore. It literally transmutes, and it becomes the gift. This is your creative genius, your higher purpose, suddenly unlocked and ready for you to use. And then, at the very highest frequency, you have what's called the city. This is, well, it's a state of pure consciousness. It's the ultimate expression of that archetype's energy. Think of it like a state of enlightenment, a profound sense of being connected to everything.
Okay, I know this can sound a bit abstract, so let's make it super concrete. Let's take a look at one specific example, the 38th gene key.
So here you can see that whole spectrum in action. At its lowest frequency, the 38th gene key shows up as the shadow of struggle. We all know that feeling, right? Like life is just one big, constant fight. But when you embrace that exact same energy, it transforms into the gift of perseverance. It becomes this incredible, unstoppable spirit that can power through anything. And at its absolute highest expression, it becomes the city of honor.
Here's another fantastic example with the 7th gene key. The shadow here is division. It's that feeling of being separate, weak, always looking for some authority figure outside yourself to tell you what to do. But when you lean into that, when you really own it, it flips into the gift of guidance. Suddenly, you've unlocked your own inner leader, your own ability to guide others from a place of real unity.
So the big question is, okay, how? How do you actually do this? How do you make that journey from shadow to gift? Well, the main method isn't about fighting or analyzing or trying to fix yourself. It's actually something much, much gentler. In spiritual traditions, there are often two classic paths. You've got meditation, which is this passive art of just witnessing, and then you have concentration, which is more of an active path of striving and effort. But the Gene Keys, it suggests there's a third way, a kind of middle path. And that third way is contemplation. This is the heart of the Gene Keys practice. It's not about fighting your shadows or forcing them to change. It's a really gentle process of just holding them in your awareness, accepting them completely, and just trusting that this simple, gentle act allows all that trapped energy to finally be released and transformed.
And really, this is the whole secret, the key to everything we're talking about. Your greatest power is actually hidden right inside your biggest challenges. It all comes down to stopping the fight, stopping the running, instead learning how to harness all that powerful energy that's just waiting for you inside the shadows. Now, this kind of inner work, it has implications that go way beyond just you. The promise of the Gene Keys isn't just personal. It actually scales up from the individual all the way to the whole of humanity. On a personal level, this is really about becoming the person you were always meant to be. It's about finding that unique genius that lives inside you, that special spark that only you can bring into the world. It's your birthright, really. But think about this. This isn't just about you feeling good. The Gene Key suggests that when enough of us start unlocking our own genius, it creates this massive ripple effect. Can you even imagine a world where people are operating from their gifts instead of their fears? It could lead to this incredible collective shift, moving us out of a victim mindset and towards a shared, conscious awakening. And this quote just ties it all together so perfectly. This isn't some solitary navel-gazing exercise. It's a blueprint for a totally new way of living and working together. A world where every single person expressing their unique genius contributes to a kind of collective prosperity that's way bigger than anything we could ever achieve on our own. So let's end right back where we started, with a question just for you to contemplate. Your DNA holds a code. It's telling a cosmic story that connects you to everything. The only question left is, what story is it telling? And what could happen if you finally learned how to read it?